World champion Seong-gu Lee issues a bold public challenge, daring Suho Park to face him in the SPFC. Unfazed, Suho's international fame grows as he's celebrated alongside the Russian president. His guild members watch the news in shock, confused by his sudden appearance in Russia instead of England. An important call interrupts them, displaying Chief as the caller ID. Junho answers the phone, formally introducing himself from the Suho Guild. He nervously explains that they also have no way to get in touch with the elusive Suho. His companion looks on, asking with concern if it's the RCD chief calling yet again. Junho confirms with a grim expression, clearly tired of the situation. He quietly complains about the futility of the chief's relentless daily calls. His friend muses on their reversal of fortune, with a powerful chief now desperately seeking their help. Elsewhere, the powerful hunters grow frustrated with their fruitless dungeon crawl, especially with Suho grabbing all the headlines. Back at the guild, Junho notes Suho's ever-growing popularity, much to his friend's surprise. The news suddenly reports a terrifying spike in level 7 dungeons appearing, causing widespread public fear. Junho absorbs this information, learning that the public sees their guild as a potential safe haven. His companion marvels at their situation, realizing the entire world is now desperately seeking Suho's help. Junho calmly confirms the chief had already brought up this very subject, surprising his friend. He elaborates on the chief's incredible offer: official district status, government-built barriers, and tax exemptions. Stunned by the massive proposal, his friend eagerly asks how Junho responded to the offer. Junho admits he gave an uncertain answer, earning a look of disbelief from his companion. He then reveals the dangerous catch. In exchange, their guild must serve as the advance party for all new level 7 dungeons. Junho explains that he can't accept such a dangerous offer without Suho's approval. His companion's face falls as he realizes the impossible weight of the government's proposal. Junho knows becoming the advance party is a death sentence, a risk they have no reason to take. Meanwhile, Suho remains blissfully unaware, posing for cameras with world leaders and his dragon. While Korea panics over dungeons and challenges, Suho is busy living his best life abroad. His friend asks the obvious, confirming that their elusive leader is still completely off the grid. Elsewhere, a lone red truck speeds through the desolate ruins of a snow-covered city. A voice crackles over a comms link, desperately trying to make contact with Suho Park. The driver announces they're en route to the meeting point, hoping Suho is watching. Suddenly, a call from Suho appears on the dashboard, asking if he's found the red truck. A distinguished man in the driver's seat confirms his identity, welcoming Suho to London. The driver then casually asks if Suho also sees the 3 giant stone golems chasing his truck. Soaring above on his dragon, Suho descends to join the high-speed pursuit. The driver expresses his relief and confidently tells Suho he'll handle the monster's pursuers. The red truck barrels through the ruins with the enraged golem stomping right behind it. A massive stone fist slams into the pavement, narrowly missing the vehicle as it swerves away. A blazing slash of energy suddenly decapitates one of the pursuing monsters. The headless golem is thrown backward, its rocky body crumbling upon impact with the city ruins. Its companion lets out a furious growl, enraged by the sudden loss of its ally. Suho and his dragon gracefully swoop past, effortlessly evading the remaining monster. As he plummets from the sky, Suho summons a powerful flame spirit to his side. His dragon unleashes a devastating flame tornado, engulfing the ground in a fiery explosion. One of the stone golems cracks and shatters under the intense heat of the attack. The second monster is thrown violently backward, its massive body slamming into the ruined street. Suho lands nimbly on his feet, stepping onto the battlefield with casual confidence. He places his hand on the fallen golem, unleashing another burst of fiery energy. The final enraged golem lets out a furious roar, preparing to charge at him. With a single, effortless kick, Suho shatters the monster's head into pieces. He casually rests his foot on the defeated golem as its remnants crash into a nearby building. Suho looks on with a bored expression, judging the powerful-looking monsters to be surprisingly low-level. The dragon lets out a triumphant cry as it circles above the defeated golems. The driver of the red truck stares at Suho in utter disbelief. Completely stunned by the display of power, he quickly pulls out his phone to capture the moment, remarking that the rumors about Suho's strength are true. The man introduces himself as Dr. Toddler, finally meeting the hunter he was sent to find. Dr. Toddler is startled as Suho's massive dragon lands right behind him with a powerful gust of wind. Unfazed, the doctor eagerly snaps a photo of the beast, identifying it as the notorious headed wyvern. He explains that the Russians had an artist paint the wyvern to distinguish it, turning it into a work of art. Dr. Toddler thanks Suho for the rescue, mentioning he felt the distinct aura of a dragon knight. Suho is impressed by the doctor's fluent Korean. Guessing he must be using an advanced translation device, the doctor proudly presents his top-of-the-line translator, revealing his status as a scientist and confirming he bought it just for this meeting. Suho surveys the desolate landscape, questioning if this ruined city is truly London. The doctor confirms that while all of England is in trouble, London has become an especially dangerous place. Dr. Totler warns that the city's dangers escalate dramatically after sunset, as monstrous cries fill the air. Understanding the urgency, the doctor suggests they should leave the area before nightfall. Suho dismisses his dragon, commanding it to return home through a crackling blue portal that materializes before them. The massive wyvern disappears into the shimmering gateway, leaving the doctor utterly astonished. Dr. Totler recognizes the phenomenon with a bead of sweat, identifying it as a beast summoning portal. The portal reopens in a completely different location, where the dragon emerges to the surprise of a pack of wolves. Back in Korea, a group of construction workers stares in disbelief as the portal suddenly appears above their sight. The foreman frantically points at the strange anomaly, trying to warn his bewildered crew. The dragon emerges from the portal, descending upon a pack of surprised wolves in a verdant field. It lets out a fierce roar, asserting its dominance as the wolves howl back in a chorus. The construction crew recognizes the famous wyvern, feeling relieved as they believe it has returned to its designated safe zone. Back in London, Dr. Totler drives on, still marveling at the incredible portal he just witnessed. The doctor correctly deduces Suho's farm must be high level, earning a nod of approval for his insight. He explains his knowledge is simple research, given Suho is the most famous man on the planet. Dr. Totler then eagerly confesses he's been anticipating this meeting for a very long time. Suho eyes the doctor with a flicker of suspicion, feeling more like a research subject than a guest. As they speed through the city, a massive shadow rumbles overhead, hinting at another danger. Suho questions the location of their destination, prompting the doctor to lament the heartbreaking ruin of London. Dr. Totler reveals their destination is New Dover, England's new capital and the home of his lab. Suho questions their roundabout route, but the doctor explains he was on a supply run for his research. He reveals a recent large-scale conflict in London provided the perfect opportunity to scavenge monster parts. The doctor excitedly shares his current project, a spatial portal for regular relocation, much like Suho's own. Suho silently connects the dots, realizing the technology is based on the same principles as monster gates. A global map illustrates the doctor's grand vision of instant worldwide travel, bypassing monster-infested territories. Suho quietly agrees, recognizing the immense strategic value of such a breakthrough. The doctor paints a grim picture of humanity's future, warning of isolation and defeat without this technology. Their truck continues its lonely journey, speeding across a massive bridge spanning the ruined world. Noticing Suho's silence, the doctor pauses his lecture, wondering if he's lost his audience's interest. Suho cuts the doctor off, demanding to know why he was truly sought out. Before the doctor can reply, Suho's sharp senses detect an immediate threat. The scientist is jolted from his monologue, startled by Suho's sudden warning. A violent tremor shakes the road as an immense shadow suddenly engulfs their truck. A gigantic, whale-like monster erupts from the ground, blocking their escape. The doctor screams in pure terror as the truck is thrown about by the impact. A system window identifies the beast as a sea-level humpback whale just as its rocky skin cracks apart. The whale's head splits open to reveal a second, more terrifying monster with a mouthful of fangs. Dr. Totler shouts in horror, identifying the hidden creature as a deadly Megaphosolodon. The monster's powerful jaws snap shut, smashing the front of the truck like a tin can. The doctor screams in terror as the truck is sent flying off the ruined bridge. With a tremendous splash, the vehicle plunges into the river as the monster dives after it. A fleet of helicopters and specialized agents on water jets suddenly swarm the area. A pilot orders the pursuit team to focus on rescuing the civilian from the submerged vehicle. Two elite agents, identified as Muscle Queen David and Silva, race across the water on jet-powered boards. The agents confirm their orders, speeding towards the crash site with grim determination. They immediately recognize the red Jeep, realizing Dr. Totler is the one in danger. The woman, Muscle Queen, takes charge, ordering her partner to hunt the beast while she saves the doctor. With eyes glowing intensely, Muscle Queen dives headfirst into the river to begin the rescue. She plunges into the dark depths, determined to find the doctor before it's too late. Muscle Queen activates her power, her glowing eyes cutting through the murky water. She quickly locates the submerged truck, surprised by how far it is sunk. Peering inside, she's stunned to find the vehicle completely empty. A sudden, powerful tremor in the water alerts her to another presence nearby. The Megaphosolodon shrieks, but its attention is fixed on a seemingly ordinary whale. The monster lunges with its tentacles outstretched, attempting to devour the smaller creature. In a flash of movement, the whale expertly dodges the massive jaws snapping shut. It then rockets through the water with impossible speed, leaving the predator behind. The Megaphorsolodon lets out a cry of frustration as its target slips away. But the monster is suddenly dragged forward, revealing the smaller whale is actually pulling it through the water. The smaller whale erupts from the river, soaring majestically into the night sky. The pursuing agents skid to a halt, stunned by the unexpected aerial display. Moments later, the Megaphorsolodon breaches as well, prompting the agents to take aim. They hesitate as they spot a human figure clinging to the whale's fin, right in the monster's path. It's Suho, calmly holding a terrified Dr. Toddler as they ride the creature. A system window confirms the Megaphorsolodon is a D-level threat, but Suho remains unfazed. He raises a hand, gathering crackling blue energy as the doctor watches in awe. A powerful updraft lifts them just out of reach of the monster's snapping jaws. Suho unleashes his power, trapping the Megaphorsolodon in a swirling aquatic tornado. The agents stare in shock, with one recognizing the famous attack from online videos of Suho. Mussel Queen watches from the water, her expression shifting from shock to dawning recognition. Suho summons a fiery spirit, preparing to unleash a completely different kind of elemental attack. The fiery spirit engulfs the Megaphorsolodon in a blistering inferno, causing the beast to cry out in agony. As the monster burns, the agents realize Suho's whale has already made its escape from the chaos. Following orders, military drones swarm the burning creature, riddling it with gunfire to finish the job. With the threat neutralized, Suho and the doctor ride the whale as it dives back toward the water. Dr. Toddler is completely speechless, having witnessed Suho's legendary abilities firsthand. Suho calmly asks the whale if it feels justice has been served for its parent. The whale lets out a mournful, but satisfied cry, acknowledging Suho's words. With a final splash, the creature disappears back into the river, its vengeance complete. The burning carcass of the Megaphorsolodon hurtles down from the sky. Its fiery demise triggers a system notification, granting Suho a level up and unlocking a new water attribute skill. The scene shifts to a vast, ruined landscape, showing the devastating impact of the ongoing war. Perched on the very edge of a cliff stands a single, modern safe house, a stark contrast to the surrounding destruction. The next morning, Dr. Toddler checks on Suho over coffee and pastries. Suho remarks on the serene beauty of their secluded location, a peaceful moment amidst the chaos. Suddenly, the very same whale they rode breaches the surface, its form majestic against the horizon. The doctor muses that sea monsters have nearly wiped out all whales, noting this one was fortunate to have met Suho. Suho observes their precarious position, realizing they are truly at the very edge of the country. Dr. Toddler reveals the grim reality. England has been forced to retreat, destroying its bridges and now desperately constructing a final barrier against the monster hordes. Dr. Toddler sets down his coffee, his expression turning serious as he shifts the conversation. He admits to Suho that he's still buzzing with excitement from witnessing the previous night's battle. The doctor recalls the incredible sight of the flame tornado, a move he'd only ever seen in online videos. Suho remains completely unfazed, calmly sipping his coffee while the doctor gushes. Dr. Toddler excitedly lists Suho's unprecedented abilities, from beast taming to mastering all four elements. Overwhelmed by curiosity, the doctor asks Suho what his life was like before he awakened. Suho claims his past was ordinary, a statement the doctor finds amusingly unbelievable given his own unique life. Changing the subject, Suho directly asked if Dr. Toddler is the creator of the dimensional energy grading machine. The doctor proudly confirms his invention, eagerly awaiting Suho's opinion on his work. Suho cuts straight to the point, demanding to know the scientific principle behind the machine's function. Suho reveals that every time he's graded, he feels the unsettling presence of countless eyes watching him. Dr. Toddler is visibly flustered, caught completely off guard by the intense line of questioning. Unrelenting, Suho presses on, demanding to know about the mysterious planet he came from. He explains that his homeworld was shattered, with a fragment becoming the very dungeon he was found in. The once thriving planet is now overrun by hostile lizard creatures that replaced his animal companions. Suho lays out all his burning questions, revealing he sought out the doctor as the one person who might have answers. The doctor listens intently, the weight of Suho's 1,000-year-old mystery dawning on him. Dr. Toddler reveals a startling connection, stating Suho's questions align with his own research into the Korean language. Suho is left completely baffled, unable to see how his cosmic dilemma relates to a simple alphabet. The doctor leads them to a hidden, high-tech chamber, preparing to unveil the answers Suho seeks. Dr. Toddler leads Suho down a dark staircase, pointing towards a distant light he identifies as his lab. Using his phone as a flashlight, The doctor reveals the lab is buried deep underground for maximum security. He boasts that the facility is heavily fortified, capable of surviving even a direct nuclear strike. The doctor admits this top-secret government lab has never had an unauthorized visitor until now. After a long descent, they finally reach the bottom of the seemingly endless staircase. Dr. Tottler inputs a security code into a high-tech keypad, preparing to unlock the entrance. A heavy, reinforced door slides open, granting them access to the hidden laboratory. Standing at the threshold, the doctor proudly presents the entrance to his secret research facility. As Suho steps inside, his expression shifts to one of utter shock, bathed in a mysterious blue light. His initial surprise gives way to intense focus as he takes in the incredible sight before him. Dr. Tottler leads Suho into the sprawling, cluttered lab, laughing off the apparent chaos. He gestures to massive screens displaying data and images, proudly declaring this is where the magic happens. The doctor gives a quick tour of the high-tech equipment, from analysis servers to diagnostic machines. He even shows off an AI-powered blueprint generator that responds to voice commands. Next, he points out various rock samples collected from dungeons, all carefully preserved for study. The doctor then directs Suho's attention to a screen displaying strange graffiti, found within a dungeon. Barely containing his excitement, he reveals the incredible discovery: the writing is a language from Earth. He then drops the bombshell that the language is specifically Korean, and it's been found in every new dungeon. Suho is completely floored, finally understanding the connection the doctor was hinting at. He asks for clarification, surprised to learn that identical dungeons have been appearing repeatedly. Dr. Tottler displays images of identical dungeons that have appeared in Berlin, Oslo, and Athens, each with a different difficulty level. He reveals a total of 13 such dungeons have spawned across Europe, Africa, and Asia, with a fourth just appearing in Korea. Suho notes the inconsistencies, as the dungeons vary in level and have appeared at different times, which the doctor confirms. This leads Suho to theorize that his world didn't just become a dungeon, but was somehow replicated multiple times across Earth. The doctor enthusiastically agrees, stating Suho's idea is one of the most compelling theories on dungeon origins. Suho then asks about the fate of his animal companions, a question the doctor admits he also desperately wants to answer. Suho is stunned to learn that even the world's foremost expert on dungeons doesn't have all the answers. With a glint in his eye, the doctor reveals that Suho himself is the key to solving this very mystery. Completely bewildered, Suho can only stare as he tries to process the doctor's cryptic statement. The doctor suddenly grabs Suho's hands, his expression shifting to one of desperate urgency. The doctor reveals that while he has many theories, Suho is the one he's been desperately waiting for to find the real answers. His face lights up with manic glee, confessing he's been eagerly anticipating this meeting since Suho's email arrived. Suho manages a strained smile, clearly taken aback by the doctor's overwhelming enthusiasm. Dr. Tottler passionately proposes they uncover the truth together, officially dubbing Suho the Dragon Knight. The reality dawns on Suho: the world's greatest expert is just as clueless as he is. Pivoting back to Suho's earlier question, the doctor promises to finally reveal the secret of the grading machine. He turns and begins rummaging through a cluttered section of his lab, searching for a specific item. With a triumphant shout, he pulls out a glowing, crystal-like object from a storage container. Suho watches with a puzzled expression, wondering what the strange artifact could be. The doctor presents the mysterious glowing rock to Suho, who questions what he's being shown. Dr. Tottler identifies the glowing artifact as a memory stone, piquing Suho's curiosity. He instructs Suho to take the stone and close his eyes, preparing him for an experience. Suho places his hand on the stone, which immediately loses its glow and cracks slightly. The stone then erupts in a brilliant blue light, pulsing with an unseen energy. He shuts his eyes tightly as a powerful sensation washes over him in a bright flash. In his mind, cryptic system messages flicker, confirming he is being observed and recorded. His eyes fly open, his expression one of pure shock from the mental intrusion. The doctor eagerly asks for his reaction, confident that Suho felt something profound. Stunned, Suho confirms he felt the exact same invasive stares he described earlier. Suho finally understands this memory stone is the very source of the grading machine's unsettling power. Dr. Tottler confirms Suho's theory, but drops a bombshell: he didn't create the stone. Suho is left speechless, struggling to process that the doctor isn't the artifact's creator. The doctor explains the stone actually fell from the sky on the day of the catastrophe. He admits it took a long time for humanity to even begin to understand the stone's true function. Suho tries to wrap his head around the artifact's incredible, otherworldly origin. This temple stone, as it's called, became the cornerstone of the world's dimensional energy revolution. Its discovery allowed scientists to pave the way for an entire industry built on its power. The pieces finally click into place for Suho, who realizes what the doctor's real contribution was. Dr. Totler reveals that by using the stone's records, they were able to create numerous other devices. He proudly displays the inner workings of a machine, a product of the Temple Stone's alien technology. He proudly presents the stone case, a device they created to interface with the memory stone. The doctor snaps the case shut, explaining it's how they can finally read the stone's data. He reveals the stone's true purpose. It performs a two-way data exchange, simultaneously reading and recording the user. Dr. Totler then presents the device to Suho, urging him to test it out for himself. Suho complies, placing his hand on the screen, which immediately activates with a bright blue light. A number flashes across the screen, displaying a dimensional energy reading of 512. The doctor is utterly astonished, revealing Suho's energy has already surpassed B rank in only 3 months. He admits that while standard measurements are useless for an anomaly like Suho, his growth rate is simply unprecedented. Suho correctly identifies the device as a portable grading machine, which the doctor confirms is a work in progress. Not finished yet, the doctor excitedly offers to show Suho another recently upgraded measuring device. With a confident clack, the doctor pulls another sleek, tablet-like device from a server rack. He proudly presents his latest invention to a curious Suho. Dr. Totler confirms it's based on the same stone, but serves a completely different, more advanced purpose. He reveals their research uncovered the stone's ability to read a person's complete biometric data. Suho's interest is piqued by the mention of this new type of data analysis. The device's screen flickers to life, displaying categories like strength and agility. This machine, the doctor boasts, can precisely measure an awakenee's physical attributes. Suho realizes the strategic advantage of creating specialized teams based on these detailed stats. The doctor beams with pride, eagerly awaiting Suho's praise for his groundbreaking creation. A stunning thought hits Suho: he's the only one on Earth who can naturally see these stats without a machine. The doctor reveals the prototype is ready for its official debut, and offers Suho the honor of being its very first test subject. Suho casually agrees, reaching out to place his hand on the advanced new scanner. Dr. Totler's eyes well up with emotion, filled with the pride and anticipation of a lifetime's work. The device's screen flickers to life, preparing to measure Suho's physical attributes. But as his hand makes contact, the machine erupts in a surge of uncontrolled blue energy. Instead of stats, the screen flashes with critical error messages, unable to process the data. The doctor panics, completely bewildered as to why his perfect machine is suddenly malfunctioning. Flustered, he excuses himself to make an urgent phone call, leaving Suho to watch. He immediately calls his director to cancel the big announcement, admitting his prized invention has failed. As the doctor struggles to explain the sudden glitch, Suho watches on with a knowing, contemplative gaze. While the doctor cancels his big reveal, Suho internally scoffs at the flawed intelligence report being displayed about him. His call finished, the flustered doctor apologizes profusely and tries to end their meeting. But Suho stops him with a crucial question, demanding to know the true origin of the stones. The doctor's demeanor shifts as he excitedly reveals the stones are ores from a distant world, called Planet Aruka. The name Planet Aruka echoes in Suho's mind, a completely unexpected and alien revelation. Suddenly, a vivid memory flashes, showing a mystical, glowing tree on a world bathed in ethereal light. The vision shifts to a younger Suho among robed figures, their peaceful activity interrupted by a looming shadow. A menacing, silhouetted figure appears against the setting sun, a dark omen of what's to come. The tip of a dark blade drips a sinister liquid onto the pristine grass below. The young Suho stares in horror, realizing with dawning dread that he's looking at blood. The memory shows a blood-stained swordsman looming over the young Suho and his fellow monks. The boy stares up at the menacing figure, his face a mask of innocent confusion and fear. The grim warrior looks down, his expression softening slightly as he recognizes the child, calling him Genu. Snapping back to the present, Suho struggles to process the alien planet's name and the flood of forgotten memories. Dr. Totler, oblivious, continues explaining that memory stones are common on planet Aruka and share a single energy wavelength. He reveals the stones function as communication devices for the planet's native High Elves. The term High Elves immediately piques Suho's interest, cutting through his daze. The doctor clarifies he means the high-ranking elven inhabitants of planet Aruka. He then reveals the dimensional grading machine was just a fortunate byproduct of their main research. Their ultimate goal is far more ambitious: to build a portal network and physically link Earth to planet Aruka. The doctor adjusts his glasses, revealing this as top-secret intel from elves who occasionally visit Earth. He explains that high elves on planet Aruka use the memory stone to read a person's complete stats. The revelation hits Suho hard, leaving him visibly shocked by the connection. Dr. Toddler jokes that this means meeting a high elf would expose all of Suho's personal information. Suho wonders if his own ability to see stats is the same as the elves, pointing a finger to test his theory. A status window materializes, revealing the doctor's stats. A level 0 scientist with surprisingly high strength. The window instantly glitches, the text blurring and distorting before the doctor can react. A system error message flashes across the screen, confirming a catastrophic failure. Suho calmly observes the no signal error, recognizing this as another malfunction of his unique system. Oblivious to the system crash, the doctor simply apologizes for losing track of time. Dr. Toddler vows to pull an all-nighter, determined to fix his malfunctioning device. Suho calmly wishes the determined doctor good luck with his monumental task. The doctor tells Suho a guide will arrive shortly and encourages him to explore the city. Waving goodbye, he recommends the local street market before promising to resume their discussion the next day. Left alone in the high-tech lab, Suho's gaze drifts to the research data on the main monitor. He reads a fascinating report detailing a twofold time dilation and writings over 100 years old. Suho realizes this 200-year-old message is the extent of their groundbreaking research so far. The analysis reveals the ancient writers suffered from extreme frustration and emotional instability. A wave of secondhand embarrassment washes over Suho as he recognizes the ancient script. He stares at the displayed stones, realizing the ancient writings are just someone's bored, childish doodles. He picks up one of the glowing memory stones, his mind racing with possibilities. Suho speculates the high elves of planet Aruka could reveal who is observing him, and the secrets of the dungeons. His expression hardens with resolve. He knows he must find a way to planet Aruka. A man in a suit approaches from below, interrupting his thoughts to confirm his identity. Suho correctly deduces that this must be the guide Dr. Toddler promised to send. The man confirms he is William, a dimensional energy expert sent by the doctor to be his guide. Bypassing the pleasantries, Suho tells William he already has a specific place he wants to visit. He points to a specific location on the main monitor, catching the guide completely off guard. William nervously identifies the location as London's Southern Portal, an active operational area for an infantry unit. Stunned, the guide asks if Suho wants to join the dungeon raid, and Suho confirms without a hint of hesitation. William breaks into a cold sweat, struggling to comprehend Suho's bold request. Meanwhile, back in the lab, a series of beeps from the main computer interrupts Dr. Toddler's work. The monitor displays the doctor's own stats, revealing a surprisingly high strength level that astonishes him. Dr. Toddler puzzles over why the machine works for him, but failed to read Suho's data. He grows increasingly frustrated, questioning why the device is malfunctioning so erratically. A shadowy figure slides the door open, calling out to the preoccupied doctor. Dr. Toddler recognizes the unexpected visitor, a man he calls David. The muscular man reveals he came to meet the legendary Dragon Knight, and demands to know his whereabouts. The doctor awkwardly explains that Suho had to leave and is currently with a guide. David's face falls in disappointment, realizing he just missed his chance to meet the famous hunter. Seizing the opportunity, Dr. Toddler asks the muscular man to place his hand on the stat-reading device. David recognizes it as a new product and confidently places his hand on the scanner. The device instantly activates, revealing David's staggering strength and agility scores. Dr. Toddler erupts with joy, confirming that the machine is functioning perfectly. David stares in awe, seeing his physical prowess displayed as concrete numbers for the first time. The doctor praises David as England's ace, whose strength is among the highest for S-rank hunters. David strikes a confident pose, remarking that he still feels the need to train even harder. As David boasts, Dr. Toddler's expression shifts to one of sudden, dawning horror. Oblivious, David waves goodbye and eagerly heads out to find Suho, the Dragon Knight. The doctor is left speechless, staring at his own hand as a shocking realization hits him. Dr. Toddler stares in disbelief, realizing Suho's stats must be in the 4-digit range. He frantically types on his keyboard, confirming the machine's display is currently capped at 999. The doctor attempts to reconfigure the system to read up to 9,999, hoping to finally process Suho's data. A moment of stunned silence follows as the full weight of his discovery sinks in. He is left utterly speechless, comprehending that Suho's power level completely broke his state-of-the-art device. Meanwhile, a monstrous blue creature, bound in heavy chains, thrashes violently. The beast is being subdued with electricity and restrained by military vehicles as Suho and William's car approaches. William explains they are capturing these monsters for research, acquiring them at a low cost from the military. The guide announces their arrival while Suho calmly observes the chaotic scene ahead. They pull up to a massive military installation surrounding a brilliant, glowing blue portal, with helicopters swarming the sky. William nervously explains they've arrived at a level 5 dungeon, with only 18 hours before it breaks. Suho glances sideways, puzzled by the mention of grasshoppers. His confusion is answered by a screen showing a knight gleefully threatening a man in a ridiculous grasshopper costume. The man on screen, a popular comedian, hams it up for the cameras. The guide clarifies that guilds now use celebrities to turn dungeon raids into profitable entertainment. Suho's expression hardens, clearly unimpressed by the commercialization of life and death battles. In the distance, a massive battle rages as military helicopters unleash a barrage of fire on a monstrous beast. William explains that despite these massive field battles consuming half the country, dungeon raids must continue. The guide's face contorts in terror as he screams a warning to Suho. A military helicopter, engulfed in flames and crackling with energy, plummets from the sky and crashes just feet away. With lightning-fast reflexes, Suho shoves his terrified guide out of the helicopter's path. The chopper erupts into a massive fireball upon impact, sending shrapnel flying everywhere. A massive piece of wreckage plummets towards the stunned William, casting a dark shadow over him. Suho intercepts the debris, shattering the massive metal blade with a single, powerful punch. Onlookers are left reeling from the sudden crash, trying to process the chaotic scene. The soldiers quickly recognize the man who just saved the day, identifying him as the famous Dragon Knight. William stammers his thanks, but Suho casually dismisses the life-saving act as if it were nothing. The guide confirms Suho's entry is secured, while a massive monster continues its rampage in the background. William spots the raid team they're meant to join, pointing them out to an unfazed Suho. He introduces the Phoenix team, an elite rank unit from the Roland Guild, assembled specifically for this raid. William formally introduces Suho to Robert Cole, the ace of the Phoenix team. The captain of Phoenix 2, Robert Cole, steps forward to greet the renowned hunter. Suho dismisses the elite team, announcing his intention to raid the dungeon completely alone. A dumbfounded William stammers, unable to believe what he just heard. Suho confidently warns them not to follow and begins walking toward the dungeon gate. William desperately tries to stop him, shouting about the extreme danger of a level 5 dungeon. Ignoring the warnings, Suho is enveloped in crackling energy as he strides into the portal. A system error flashes before him, confirming his connection is still malfunctioning. He smirks, recalling the B-grade materials he needs as he accelerates with immense power. William screams in terror, watching helplessly as Suho disappears into the gate. Crackling with immense power, Suho vanishes into the dungeon gate with a determined look. William and the elite Phoenix team are left standing in stunned silence, completely bewildered. A flustered William asks Robert if they should ignore the warning and go after him into the dangerous dungeon. The stoic captain reminds him that Suho's instructions were crystal clear: do not follow. The other hunters grumble about Suho's audacity, questioning his decision to go in alone. William apologizes for the inconvenience, but Robert calmly waves it off, saying his team was available anyway. Still, William can't help but worry, clutching his head in frustration over Suho's reckless solo mission. Their conversation is cut short as a powerful red truck screeches to a halt right beside them. The group turns in surprise, wondering who has just arrived at the chaotic scene. It's David, England's S-rank hunter, who cheerfully waves at a surprised William. David mockingly asks Robert why he's here instead of dealing with the celebrity grasshoppers. Robert retorts, questioning why the muscle queen, David Silva, is out in the middle of nowhere. David leans in with a playful smirk, asking if his cute Robert is trying to pick a fight. Robert denies any intention of challenging England's top hunter, though David seems to think otherwise. David changes the subject, mentioning a quest and a party where he expects to see his sexy friend. The two hunters exchange some friendly, if slightly bizarre, banter about past party antics. The masked soldiers behind them are visibly uncomfortable, disgusted by their leader's strange conversation. A stressed-out William can only mutter David's name, overwhelmed by the S-ranker's sudden appearance. David finally turns his attention to William, asking why he looks so upset and where the Dragon Knight is. With a weary sigh, William explains that Suho went into the dungeon by himself just moments ago. William explains that Suho's entry was so abrupt they were powerless to stop him. The guide panics, terrified of the consequences to his career if anything happens to the hunter. David burst into a hearty laugh, thoroughly amused by William's frantic worrying. He calmly remarks that such a reckless solo mission is exactly what one would expect from the Dragon Knight. David chides William for his lack of faith, hinting that he knows far more about Suho's true power, announcing his intention to get ice cream. David is stopped short by a powerful crackle of energy from the gate. The S-rank hunter turns back, his casual demeanor vanishing as he senses the sudden surge of power. With a look of utter astonishment, David points towards the portal, announcing Suho's return. Suho emerges from the swirling energy, standing calmly as if only moments have passed. William lets out a scream of pure shock, his mind unable to comprehend Suho's impossibly fast raid. Elsewhere, soldiers in gas masks methodically check their gear, preparing for a hazardous deployment. The men express their grim frustration, learning that 3 previous attack teams have already failed. A soldier recoils as a giant insectoid monster suddenly appears, confirming their fears about the dungeon's inhabitants. 2 soldiers discuss the dire situation, noting that other elite Phoenix teams are already deployed elsewhere. They voice their deep-seated fear about the catastrophic consequences should a full dungeon break occur. One of the soldiers suddenly stops, his partner turning to him in confusion. The soldier stares ahead in utter disbelief, questioning if what he's seen is just a hallucination. He urgently reports to Captain Cole that Suho has just emerged from the gate, leaving his leader speechless. Robert Cole is left completely dumbfounded, unable to comprehend how anyone could have returned so quickly. David and William call out to the Dragon Knight, who stands before them crackling with residual energy from the raid. Suho calmly acknowledges the stunned group, seemingly unaware of their shock. His attention lands on David, whom he casually identifies as the muscular hunter from a previous encounter. Their reunion is cut short as David screams, alerting everyone to a monster that escaped the gate behind Suho. A monstrous fire boar, wreathed in flames, bursts from the portal and charges directly at them. William screams in terror, confirming the monster's identity as it closes the distance. The beast thunders forward, its demonic red eyes fixed on its target with pure aggression. David's fear turns to rage, furious that the boar has ruined his favorite spot. Channeling immense power into his fist, David leaps forward to unleash a devastating attack on the creature. William can only watch in abject horror, completely overwhelmed by the sudden chaos. The S-ranker's powerful punch connects, sending the flaming beast flying as Suho observes with detached curiosity. The boar's face shatters from the force of the blow, its eye grotesquely dislodged from its socket. The massive creature soars through the air before crashing into the ground with incredible force, creating a deep crater. The beast's body tumbles towards the masked soldiers, forcing them to dive out of the way to avoid being crushed. The soldiers stare in disbelief, completely stunned that David dispatched the monster with a single punch. Suho offers a rare compliment, acknowledging the S-ranker's impressive display of power. Unfazed by the chaos, Suho calmly steps toward the muscular hunter. David formally introduces himself, confirming that this isn't their first encounter. The S-ranker eagerly shakes Suho's hand, revealing he's been looking forward to this reunion. Suho questions David's intense interest, wondering what could have made such a strong impression. David reveals the reason for his admiration. He witnessed Suho single-handedly defeat a colossal sea monster. David declares he recognized Suho as a kindred spirit, leaving the Dragon Knight puzzled. The S-ranker proudly flexes his arms, while Suho seems completely uninterested in his workout routine. With a strange intensity, David reveals his secret training method involves bananas. Suho is left utterly baffled by the muscular hunter's peculiar explanation. David clarifies he saw a cave drawing of Suho training with giant bananas. A flash of recognition crosses Suho's face as he recalls the strange artwork. David shares that he, too, built his strength with bananas, showing a flashback of his own bizarre training. Suho expresses his surprise, but David confidently confirms their shared, unusual path to power. To prove his point, David pulls out his phone to show a picture from his past. Suho stares at the phone screen, his face a mask of pure shock at the image displayed. The phone displays a younger David, who explains he once found his strength working on a banana farm. Suho recalls the strange cave art as David passionately declares that bananas were a fruit of destiny for him. A smirk crosses Suho's face. He's surprisingly impressed that David took the infamous cave drawings to heart. David confidently dismisses formal stats, believing Suho's banana-forged strength is all that truly matters. Suho coolly confirms David's assessment, agreeing that he can defeat monsters without difficulty. The S-ranker gets fired up, eagerly asking to witness Suho's muscles have a bodily conversation with some monsters. Amused by the strange request, Suho agrees to grant David's wish to see his power firsthand. William frantically tries to intervene, desperately telling the 2 powerful hunters to stop their reckless plan. Ignoring the guide completely, Suho and David are engulfed in crackling energy as they step towards the gate. William is left utterly stunned and speechless as the 2 hunters disappear into the portal. Without a second thought, news cameras capture a dramatic scene as a man in a suit is sent flying across a strange landscape. The story breaks on BTC Newsweek, spreading the incredible events across the globe. Headlines declare that Suho and David cleared 15 high-level dungeons in a record-breaking 40 minutes, saving England. The Phoenix Guild and the UK Awakeners Association publicly expressed their immense gratitude for Suho's intervention. In an unprecedented move, the Queen of England announces her intention to grant Suho a knighthood. Back in an office, two executives are left speechless by the news of the Queen's plan for Suho. The man grabs his head in disbelief, learning that Suho is now considered a national hero in England. Overwhelmed by the situation, he anxiously asks if anyone has been able to contact Suho. His colleague confirms their attempts have failed. Suho is completely unreachable. The man's concern shifts to business, desperately asking if they secured any rewards from the dungeon Suho cleared. The woman confirms they received no rewards, causing the executive to curse his bad luck. She questions the outcome, believing their financial support should have guaranteed them a share. The man retorts that with a level 7 dungeon on the horizon, their financial concerns are irrelevant. He slams his desk in desperation, wishing they had 100 more hunters just like Suho. His colleague smirks, reminding him of his old plan to flee the country if a crisis like this ever happened. The executive sheepishly dismisses his past words, claiming it was just empty talk. She probes further, questioning his newfound patriotism and suspecting a hidden motive. He urgently orders her to devise a plan to get Suho back to Korea before he puts down roots in England. Unconcerned, she confidently assures him that Suho will come running the moment he goes online. When he asks why, she reveals that a new video was just uploaded to Suho's personal YouTube channel. The woman smirks, revealing that a certain Sianu Lee has made a massive blunder. The executive leans over the screen, his face contorted in shock and confusion at the video playing. The footage shows a chaotic battle, with helicopters unleashing a barrage of fire on a grotesque monster. This intense combat scene is bizarrely overlaid with celebratory fireworks and cheerful music. The video is framed as a thank you message for a party celebrating a successful dungeon raid. Two figures clink champagne glasses, one of them praising the Dragon Knight for an amazing performance. The compliment comes from a large man in a peculiar outfit, who found the raid more exciting than fighting a giant sea creature. The Dragon Knight is revealed to be Suho, who returns the praise, complimenting the man's powerful punch. The man then asks Suho if he encountered a woman named Sylvia while he was in Russia. When Suho expresses his confusion, the man explains that Sylvia is a famous tamer and a friend of his. The man explains that a famous tamer named Sylvia dropped everything to find Suho in Russia. After his story broke, Suho looks genuinely confused, wondering why so many taming specialists would want to meet him. His companion laughs, declaring it's because Suho is now famously known as the Dragon Knight. He clarifies that no one had ever successfully tamed a wyvern, making Suho a legend in their field. Suho casually sips his champagne, completely unfazed by his groundbreaking achievement. The man's demeanor suddenly turns serious, warning Suho not to fall for the champion's taunts. Puzzled, Suho asks what he means, realizing he must have missed some crucial news while celebrating. His friend shows him a news article about a hunter with glowing hands, questioning if a certain match will proceed. Suho glances at the photo and asks who the man is, shocking his companion with his ignorance. The man reveals the figure as Hero, the world's #1 hunter, who is originally from Korea and known as Sianu Lee. Suho casually dismisses the man, admitting he has no idea who Hero is. His friend's expression hardens, urgently warning Suho to avoid the man he calls a vicious killer. The word killer stuns Suho, who looks utterly bewildered by the contradiction. The companion recalls how Hero was praised as a hero, which made him eager to meet the top ranker. He explains that an opportunity for a friendly match between him and Hero finally rose. The flashback reveals the match's brutal end, with a bloodied Hero standing over a defeated David. Lying defeated, David praises Hero's immense strength, calling it the best match of his life. Hero coldly dismisses the compliment, asserting that only the strong have the right to evaluate. His eyes glowing with menace, Hero condemns David's praise as arrogance and promises to teach him the price of hubris. David's face fills with terror as he realizes his friendly words have been dangerously misinterpreted. The flashback reveals Hero delivering a vicious, overpowering strike to David during their match. David recalls the moment he saw the pure malice gleaming in Hero's glowing eyes. He reveals his heavily scarred arm, a permanent reminder of Hero's brutality that required 8 major surgeries. Suho is left utterly stunned by the grim story, his celebration completely forgotten. David explains that Hero has a history of ending his challengers' lives, even when victory is already secured. He shows no mercy, striking down even those who forfeit, leading David to furiously label his actions as murder. Suho questions Hiro's motives, but David simply warns him to avoid the man at all cost. Just then, a notification on his phone catches Suho's attention, his expression shifting to confusion. A news alert reveals the unthinkable. Siinu Lee has illegally entered Korea and attacked Suho land. The personal nature of the attack sinks in, and Suho's shock quickly turns into pure rage. David watches in confusion as Suho's party mood completely evaporates. Back at Suho land, a frantic voice echoes through the grand estate, desperate to get in touch with its owner. Suho furiously grips his phone, demanding an immediate explanation for the unfolding crisis. His subordinate reveals Hiro's ultimatum: show up or everyone dies. Adding that to patrol wolves are already gone. The loss of his loyal summons leaves Suho utterly shocked and speechless. He argues that an attack should have triggered the alarms. But David's worried expression suggests a deeper problem. A system notification suddenly appears, displaying a critical no-signal error message. Suho realizes with dawning horror that a system glitch kept him completely in the dark. His mind races, questioning why his other powerful guardians didn't step in to defend their territory. He roars his frustration into the phone, only to be reminded that his forces are facing the world's top-ranked hunter. Suho furiously berates his subordinate, telling him to hurry back to the estate. He ends the call, vowing to whip his forces into shape upon his return. David, looking worried, asks Suho if he really intends to confront the top-ranked hunter. Suho confirms his departure, but David urgently warns him that it's obviously a trap. David speculates about Hiro's hidden motives for targeting Suho, who listens intently. He points out the unprecedented nature of the challenge, and warns that Hiro's history suggests a grim outcome. Undeterred, Suho calmly accepts the risk and asks David to pass on his farewells. David is left speechless, his expression showing deep concern for Suho's decision. Without another word, Suho dramatically raises his hand to summon his wyvern in the middle of the party. His determined expression falters into confusion as he realizes his summoning ability isn't working. Suho frantically waves his arms, questioning why his powers have suddenly failed him. Elsewhere, a mysterious figure watches Suho struggles on a monitor, letting out a quiet, knowing laugh. A man with glowing glasses expresses his annoyance that David's interference has cut their observation short. The man calmly speaks into a comms device, revealing he's the one controlling the system outage. Suddenly, multiple system windows appear before Suho, leaving him utterly bewildered. The system finally recovers, but delivers a devastating report. An intruder has breached his land and killed 2 of his summons. Suho's face twists in anguish as he reads the names of his fallen companions, Radish and Fish Cake. With his connection restored, he channels his rage into summoning his most powerful ally. A massive wyvern tears through the sky, sending the party guest into a panic. In stark contrast, David stares up with a look of pure, fanatical awe. The mysterious figure watches the wyvern's dramatic arrival on his monitor, completely unfazed. He glances at a timer, confirming his prediction of a nearly 24-hour system cooldown. The man picks up a glowing, crystalline object from his desk, lost in thought. This object is revealed to be urukamite, a powerful, artificially created mineral. He muses on Suho's elemental abilities, noting their striking similarity to those of high elves. A flashback reveals this man previously gave the urukamite to Suho, causing a temporary shutdown of his powers. This explains Suho's earlier confusion at the party when his summoning skills suddenly failed him. The man speculates that human evolution might mirror that of beings from another world. Meanwhile, a phone begins to ring urgently in a high-rise office building. The chief of British Security Services is on the line, asking David for Suho's whereabouts. David reports to the chief that Suho has already left, confirming he's secured the data from the stone. The chief, pleased with the speed of events, immediately summons David to the security department. The mysterious man in the lab is suddenly interrupted by an incoming call. He answers the phone, responding to the chief on the other end of the line. The chief eagerly asks for the results of their recent test, wanting to know if it was a success. The scientist confirms that the experiment on Suho went exactly as they had predicted. The chief excitedly realizes that if the urukamite works on Suho, it will also work on the aliens of planet Aruka. The man in the lab confidently agrees with the chief's assessment. A menacing grin forms on the chief's face as he declares it's time to put the arrogant elves in their place. The scientist, however, voices his concern, reminding the chief that the Aruka elves are their allies. The chief coldly informs the scientist that in their world, there are no permanent allies. Dr. Totler counters that their weapon has flaws, and they must accelerate their research. The chief highlights the rising chaos caused by the Awakened, arguing the Elven Alliance is a ticking time bomb. He insists they need a way to control the powerful, as levels will soon dictate the new world order. The scientist silently ends the call, the conversation leaving him deeply unsettled. He clutches the Urukamite, doubting if it's truly enough to stop a monster like Suho. Meanwhile, Suho mounts his furious wyvern, ready to unleash his wrath upon the invader. With a look of pure vengeance, he soars through the sky, promising a grim fate for Hiro. Back at the party, Suho's friends anxiously ask for an update, sensing something is terribly wrong. The friend who took the call shows his phone with a look of dread, realizing they are all completely screwed. Suho's friends anxiously demand to know what their boss said in the message. The group collectively recoils in sheer terror at the contents of the phone. The phone is held up, displaying the grim message for everyone to see. Suho's text promises them a grueling, near-fatal training regimen upon his return. His friends descend into chaos, panicking and questioning what they did to deserve this fate. One friend breaks down, wailing about their impossible odds against a hunter who crushes S-ranks. A news report flashes across the TV, broadcasting their public humiliation for the world to see. The dejected group watches the news, realizing their own video has been used to label them as losers. One friend fumes over the vicious comments on the Heroes Guild forum, disgusted by the lack of support. Another friend weeps, feeling utterly abandoned and betrayed as they are painted as the villains. One friend questions why the video was uploaded, only to be told it was evidence to sue Hiro. The bald friend admits their humiliation but preaches about maintaining confidence, even in dire situations. Another friend scoffs, reminding the bald one of his own less-than-confident past involving drunken bar brawls. A flashback reveals the bald monk once justified a brawl by claiming he was fighting demons, disguised as humans. The group's focus returns to their immediate problem, acknowledging that Suho is genuinely enraged. One friend suggests temporarily leaving the guild to escape the storm, an idea the others quickly entertain. A member asks for an update on the Control Department's official response to the incident. His friend shows him a news article, revealing the government's only comment was that the event was regrettable. The group is stunned into silence, shocked by the weak and dismissive official statement. One friend erupts in fury, outraged that the government let an intruder walk free after committing such a blatant crime. One friend furiously reveals an article stating Hiro has already fled back to Japan. The group is stunned, unable to believe the government simply let the intruder leave the country. Overwhelmed by the injustice, the bald monk resorts to prayer. Enraged, one of the friends springs up, vowing to confront the Control Department directly. However, another friend urges calm, speculating the government wants them to handle it personally to avoid a diplomatic crisis. The furious friend points out that Hiro's connection to the Japanese military makes this an international problem by default. The monk calls the government's inaction truly humiliating, accusing them of shifting the burden onto their own citizens. Another friend fumes over the media blackout, noting the shocking absence of articles portraying them as the victims. One member reveals an article from the United States, which suggests the guild should immigrate to a nation that can actually protect them. The consensus is clear. They believe their country is weak, and they now regret not immigrating sooner. The group concludes that only Suho can resolve this, recalling the terrifying intensity in Hiro's eyes. A flashback shows a blood-soaked Hiro giving them a chilling ultimatum: deliver Suho in 10 days, or face annihilation. The friends tremble, admitting they couldn't comply with the demand as Suho is completely unreachable. One member expresses his deep shame, confessing he was too paralyzed by fear to move during the confrontation. They rationalize their inaction, agreeing that fighting back would have been a fatal mistake and would have only devastated Suho. The conversation shifts to Genu, with one friend asking how the young monk is coping after the traumatic event. Another friend explains Genu has been unusually quiet, just watching TV, which is a relief from his normally wild behavior. In his room, the young monk Genu is secretly idolizing Hiro, obsessively watching clips of his fights. One friend grits his teeth, resolving to wait for Suho's return, confident he will crush their enemy. However, another member interjects, insisting they have something to do before Suho gets back, calling out to Dongsu. Dongsu turns, responding to his friend's summons with a serious look. The scene cuts to Dongsu and another member in a glowing forest, reluctantly using metal detectors for a secret mission. They're searching for something their enemy buried, a task that feels as hopeless as finding a needle in a haystack. The search is suddenly interrupted by an incoming phone call for the lead member. On the other end, a woman from another organization thanks them for their assistance in a dungeon raid. The guild member coldly replies that they were simply fulfilling the terms of their contract. When the woman tries to apologize for the government's handling of the Hiro incident, he curtly hangs up on her. After the call, the two hunters stand in a tense silence, the awkward conversation leaving a bitter taste. The lead member has a sudden realization, telling a stunned Dongsu that their next search location is the farm. He confidently asserts his instincts are telling him their enemies planted a listening device. In that prime location, Dong-soo defends Captain Miso, reminding his friend that she still looks out for them despite the circumstances. His friend remains wary, theorizing her kindness is just a tactic to keep her potential enemies close. Conceding the point, Dong-soo agrees that extreme caution is necessary as they venture further into the woods. The magical forest around them is alive with the sounds of a diverse and growing animal population. From a high vantage point, the two hunters marvel at the sheer number of creatures now inhabiting the area. Their attention is drawn to a distant, intense scuffle between a shadowy figure and a massive bear. Watching the one-sided beatdown, Dong-soo nervously wonders if the two are simply engaged in rough play. The lead member questions the whereabouts of the master of this ever-growing animal family. As the ground begins to shake, he then shows a news clip on his phone of Suho battling an enormous sea beast atop a whale. Dong-soo realizes with a mix of awe and dread that Suho's last known location means he's already on his way back. Dong-soo questions the logic of bringing a whale to a farm with no ocean, but his friend isn't concerned. His companion marvels at Suho's new power, recalling the incredible feat of freezing the ocean just to hunt a monster. Suddenly, Dong-soo's attention is caught by something unfamiliar in the forest, leaving him completely puzzled. His companion turns with a look of utter bewilderment, equally startled by the strange sight. Up in the trees, a pair of monkeys shriek in alarm, their panic adding to the tense atmosphere. The lead member identifies the creatures as Japanese macaques, a species that has no business being in their forest. A horrifying realization dawns on them both, their faces contorting in shock and disbelief. A breaking news alert flashes on the phone, announcing that Suho is currently attacking Tokyo with a dragon. They stare at the screen in utter disbelief, struggling to process the news of Suho's assault on the city. The scene shifts to the skies above Tokyo, where a terrifying wyvern dives towards the panicked citizens below. The wyvern lands amidst traffic as terrified citizens scream and flee, identifying the rider as the Dragon Knight. Utter chaos erupts on the streets as people scramble to escape the terrifying beast and its mysterious rider. The incident is already being live-streamed, with the chat exploding as viewers react to Suho's shocking arrival in Tokyo. The online chatter quickly turns to speculation, with many guessing Suho is there for a showdown with Hiro. The broadcast shows an enraged Suho publicly challenging Hiro to face him. Dong-soo and his companions stare at the phone, completely taken aback by the sheer intensity of Suho's rage. In a high-tech control room, another group watches the broadcast, marveling at Suho's audacity to take the fight to his enemy's home turf. Unrelenting, Suho continues to roar his challenge, making his singular purpose clear to the entire world. News choppers swarm the area, broadcasting that the Dragon Knight has made an unsanctioned entry into the country to find Hiro. As the wyvern marches through the city, news outlets report on his illegal entry and the resulting traffic gridlock, noting the lack of any real destruction so far. Tokyo's Return Crime Control Department speeds to the scene, sirens wailing. News helicopters speculate on the arrival of the renowned Captain Saseki's team. The crowd recognizes the formidable Captain Saseki as he and his elite squad march onto the scene. The live broadcast confirms it's the world-ranked S-Class hunter, Saseki, sparking excitement among viewers. The situation escalates as the military's 10th Armored Unit rolls in with heavy tanks, adding to the overwhelming force. An unmanned Air Force drone unit swarms the skies. Watching the broadcast, Dong-soo and his friend fear Suho has severely underestimated the response he'd provoke. The scene shifts to Japan's defense headquarters, the nerve center of the operation. Inside the bustling situation room, operators monitor Suho's every move on massive screens. A commander confirms that the 1st Armored Unit is in position and ready to engage. A combat drone unit confirms its readiness, filling the sky with menacing red lights. A sophisticated targeting system locks onto the wyvern, painting a digital bullseye on its back. High above the Earth, a combat satellite ominously named Apocalypse E3 acquires its target. In the command center, the top brass observes both the satellite feed and Suho's position, coordinating the massive response. Section Chief Dago reminds Defense Head Kurosawa that they've committed significant resources to monitoring Suho Park. Kurosawa decides to hold back their heavy hitters, wanting to first gauge Suho's power against Captain Saseki. Back on the ground, the crowd and online viewers go wild as the formidable Captain Saseki prepares to face the intruder. Saseki stands his ground as Suho, the Dragon Knight, continues to demand that Hiro show himself. Suho looks down from his perch, seemingly unimpressed by the man attempting to halt his search. With an intense glare, Saseki officially places Suho under arrest for illegal entry and disturbing the peace. Suho coldly asks the man on the ground if he is the one named Hiro. Captain Saseki formally identifies himself and once again demands Suho surrender. Completely unimpressed, Suho tells the captain to get lost if he's not the man he's looking for. The crowd is stunned by his blatant defiance of the world-ranked hunter. Saseki's expression darkens, clearly insulted by the intruder's sheer audacity. He immediately unleashes a powerful binding spell, ensnaring the wyvern in shadowy tendrils. Onlookers cheer wildly, recognizing the captain's signature restraining technique in action. The dark restraints quickly wrap around Suho, attempting to immobilize him on his mount. Saseki hovers in the air, warning Suho that struggling will only make the magical bonds tighter. But Suho effortlessly flexes, stretching the powerful bindings as if they were simple ropes. Enraged, Saseki launches himself at Suho with glowing fists, deciding to take him down by force. The live chat explodes with mixed reactions, with many viewers already dismissing Suho's chances. But with a single powerful flex, Suho effortlessly shatters the S-Class Hunter's signature binding spell. The wyvern breaks the final restraints, its sheer force sending the captain flying backward through the air. The crowd watches in stunned silence, their faces a mask of pure disbelief at the sudden turn of events. Saseki crashes hard onto the pavement, tumbling violently through his own elite squad. He skids to a halt, desperately trying to regain his footing while warning his team to get back. Dazed and bleeding, the captain looks up in utter shock. Unable to process his swift and humiliating defeat, Suho calmly tears away the last remnants of the spell, remarking on the need to risk one's life in such a fight. The wyvern unleashes a terrifying roar, its dark aura flaring as Saseki braces for the next assault. The captain trembles, a bead of sweat betraying his fear in the face of the wyvern's overwhelming pressure. Wiping blood from his nose, Saseki acknowledges that the rumors about the Dragon Knight's strength were no exaggeration. He grimaces, realizing a debuff skill was the only thing that saved him from a much more severe injury. Suho looks down from his mount, once again telling the S-Class Hunter to get out of his way. Refusing to back down, Saseki charges forward, conjuring powerful magic circles for another attack. With a look of sheer annoyance, Suho questions why the captain simply won't give up. As Saseki leaps into the air, Suho calmly raises a hand to meet the incoming assault. He unleashes a powerful air vortex, gathering a swirling mass of blue energy in his palm. The vortex slams into Saseki, completely neutralizing his attack and sending him reeling backward. The crowd watches in absolute horror, their jaws agape at the unbelievable display of power. The command center staff stares in disbelief at the sudden turn of events. Suho's vortex attack expands, sending shockwaves through the terrified crowd below. The force of the blast sends Captain Saseki hurtling through the side of a nearby skyscraper. From above, the impact is seen as a devastating explosion, causing the crowd to flee in terror. In the command room, the top brass can only watch in horror, as their S-Class Hunter is so easily defeated. Meanwhile, Dongsu's friend cheers wildly at his brother's incredible display of power on the livestream. Suho, surrounded by his wyvern's flames, dismisses his opponents as weaklings and repeats his demand for hero. Saseki's remaining squad members regroup, determined to protect the civilians despite their fear. Online viewers furiously debate the fight, questioning how Suho so easily overpowered a world-ranked hunter's abilities. Defense head Kurosawa, however, seems intrigued, noting that Suho's power is far more appealing than he anticipated. Kurosawa's aide reveals they received an invitation from Suho's team and intend to meet him. Suho issues a final, destructive ultimatum, threatening to level the city if his demand isn't met. His terrifying threat sends the remaining onlookers into a full-blown panic, fleeing for their lives. The command center staff frantically suggests using their satellite weapon to neutralize the immediate danger. Kurosawa, however, remains unfazed, a smirk playing on his lips as he dismisses the growing chaos. His subordinate reports that another captain, Masao, is now preparing to engage the Dragon Knight. A new voice commands Suho to stop, momentarily catching his attention. A lone, imposing figure in a simple uniform steps forward to confront the overwhelming threat. Suho's internal system scans the man, revealing him to be an ordinary human with laughably low stats, perched atop his fire-breathing wyvern. Suho looks down and questions the insignificant man's identity. The man introduces himself as Captain Masao of the National Police Agency, advising Suho to stop. Unfazed, Suho reiterates his demand for hero, setting a firm 30-minute time limit. The captain calmly informs Suho that his target is currently unavailable. He explains that Hiro has just embarked on a dangerous level 7 dungeon operation. Suho understands Hiro is occupied and immediately demands to know the dungeon's location. Masao refuses, stating that Hiro won't be available for another 10 days. Suho looks utterly unimpressed, questioning why someone needing 10 days for a dungeon would dare challenge him. The captain seems flustered, trying to emphasize the difficulty of a level 7 dungeon. After confirming the 10-day wait, Suho surprisingly agrees to return later and prepares to depart. Masao accepts the truce but sternly warns that Suho will still be held accountable for his destructive entrance. Suho takes responsibility for the chaos, leaving a sharp message for Hiro about cowards who strike when the leader is away. Captain Masao gives a knowing smile and agrees to deliver the taunting message. With a powerful flap of its wings, the wyvern soars into the sky, leaving the stunned crowd behind. In the command room, an official watches the monitor in outrage, unable to believe they're letting Suho leave. Kurosawa counters that fighting a single returnee with their entire force would be the greater humiliation. The defense chief calmly orders a fighter jet escort for Suho, treating him like a VIP. High above the city, Suho and his wyvern are escorted by military jets as they depart. Suddenly, Suho looks back, a confused expression on his face as something unexpected happens below. A massive, swirling red portal rips open in the sky above the city, shocking everyone. Suho stares in disbelief, recognizing the ominous gate as a potential entrance to planet Hades. News outlets immediately blast headlines across the nation, reporting on Suho's public challenge to Hiro. Elsewhere, Dongsu's friends erupt in cheers, celebrating as they watch the events unfold on television. They see Suho's victory as glorious payback. Relishing the moment, their friend asserted his dominance. The broadcast details Captain Saseki's critical condition, a fact that only adds to the group's excitement. Their celebration is cut short when the news reports Japan's threat of full-scale war, stunning them into silence. In response to the international crisis, the government convenes an urgent, high-level conference. Online, the public is fiercely divided, debating whether to surrender Suho or risk an all-out war. The grim reality sets in for Dongsu's friends as they realize Suho's actions could have devastating consequences. One of them panics, suggesting they flee the country to escape the impending conflict. Dongsu, however, remains composed, deciding they will face the situation together after Suho returns. Back at the house, Dongsu's friend is startled by a bird flying past the window. A sudden flash from the television screen catches the group's attention, showing Suho's return. The friends erupt in joy, excitedly announcing that their hero has finally come back. Their celebration is cut short as they freeze in fear, realizing Suho has overheard their conversation. Suho makes his grand entrance, his imposing figure filling the doorway and casting a long shadow. The once boisterous group now stammers nervously, trying to greet the intimidating returnee. His eyes glowing with a furious blue energy, Suho demands to know what they're doing there. He immediately unleashes his fury, sending the men crashing across the room in a violent blur. Suho's rage intensifies as he roars, his glowing eyes promising more pain to come. With a final, explosive command, he sends them flying through the shattering windows of the mansion. Meanwhile, inside a government building, a heated debate erupts over the demand to surrender Suho. The room is divided, with some officials arguing they can't just hand him over without a reciprocal demand for Seung-woo Lee. The Minister of Foreign Affairs angrily insists Suho is out of control because the government has been too lenient. In response, the Minister of National Defense points out that Seung-woo Lee started the fight and questions his colleague's allegiance. The Foreign Affairs Minister is incensed by the personal attack, while the Defense Minister quickly tries to retract his statement. As their argument intensifies, another official dryly suggests they should take their personal squabble outside. The chaos is instantly quelled as an aide announces the arrival of the president. The president of Korea enters and takes his seat, his presence immediately silencing the bickering ministers. He cuts straight to the point, demanding to know if Suho and Seung-woo Lee were previously acquainted. The Vice Minister of Land, Infrastructure, and Transport confirms they have never met, deepening the mystery of the conflict. The president presses for a motive, but his cabinet admits their investigation has hit a dead end. An official angrily points out that Seung-woo Lee, the traitor, started the fight, questioning his bizarre choice of target. The RCD chief steps in, revealing they have formulated possible assumptions about the conflict. He suggests the first reason is simple jealousy over Suho's skyrocketing global popularity and accolades. A minister scoffs at the idea, finding it incredibly petty for someone ranked as the world's #1. The president cuts to the chase, demanding the Minister of National Defense assess their chances against Japan. The minister stammers, admitting they're outmatched and would need a decade and more funding to stand a chance. The Foreign Affairs Minister offers a cold, simple alternative: surrender Suho Park immediately. His suggestion sends a wave of shock and uncertainty through the other officials. He insists it's their only choice, as a war would mean certain defeat and the death of their citizens. The Foreign Affairs Minister confidently orders the chief to prepare Suho for handover to Japan. But the RCD chief interjects, telling the president their second theory is far more probable. The president listens intently, his expression turning serious as the plot thickens. The chief reveals his shocking theory: this entire crisis is a ploy by Japan to recruit Suho. The president's eyes widen in disbelief, realizing the threat of war might be a calculated bluff. The chief elaborates that a real war is impractical, proving just how desperate Japan is to acquire Suho. A skeptical minister questions Suho's value, since he isn't a powerful returnee like Sianu Lee. The RCD chief simply states that Suho is a special case, unlike any other. He explains that nations worldwide are vying for Suho due to a single, unique skill he alone possesses. Leaning forward, the president demands to know what incredible skill makes Suho so indispensable. The chief reveals Suho's secret weapon, the ability to use elemental magic, once exclusive to the high elves of planet Aruka. He clarifies that while others have studied this magic, only Suho has mastered its perfect, broad-spectrum form. The ministers are left speechless, shocked by the implications of high elf magic. The Minister of Transport connects the dots, realizing Suho's power could solve their food supply issues by growing grains instantly. The RCD chief beams, confirming Suho is a walking jackpot, a source of unimaginable national wealth. The room's atmosphere flips entirely, with every official now demanding they protect Suho, even if it leads to war. The president decisively orders a travel ban on Suho, recognizing that where there's profit, there's a solution. News headlines quickly announce the government's refusal to surrender Suho, framing him as a national hero. Further reports detail plans for Suho Land, a massive industrial and agricultural project backed by the DGB Guild. In a car, the Foreign Affairs Minister cynically remarks it all came down to money, but his aide reminds him of his part in the decision. The minister dismisses consulting Suho, confident that the promise of wealth and avoiding prison is an offer he can't refuse. The DGB Guild Master reveals his grand patriotic vision to leverage Suho's power and make Korea the world's food superpower. His aide interrupts with news of an imminent meeting in Suho Land with the mysterious and influential Mr. Max. The minister is visibly surprised by how quickly this new, powerful player has moved in on their operation. He tasks his aide with securing Suho for the meeting, certain he can handle the high-stakes deal that awaits. In another part of the city, a glowing blue portal signifies the entrance to a high-level cricket dungeon. A figure crackling with powerful blue electricity calmly steps out of the completed dungeon. The defeated returnees are violently expelled from the portal, still sparking from the overwhelming energy. One of the ejected men lands awkwardly on his head, a testament to the force of his defeat. The rest of the party crashes to the ground in a heap, completely overpowered by their unseen opponent. The remaining members of the party are unceremoniously dumped onto the ground. The mysterious figure stands over the pile of defeated returnees, completely unfazed. Revealed to be Suho, he berates his fallen training partners, announcing they still have 10 more rounds to go. His words fall on deaf ears as one of the exhausted men is already fast asleep on the dungeon floor. Suho sighs in exasperation, unimpressed by the pathetic state of his training squad. He casually takes a phone call from Granny Sukiya, stepping over the snoring bodies of the defeated men. On the other end, Granny Sukiya asks if the men were fed, then dismisses the idea, claiming they ate enough already. Suho decides to pass the phone to the woman sitting with his grandmother, Miss Miso. Miss Miso greets him, revealing she knows about his intense, non-stop dungeon training for the past 3 days. A slightly weary Suho confirms her intel before asking the real reason for her call. Miss Miso reveals she has a solution to the escalating conflict with Japan. Suho listens silently, surrounded by the snoring bodies of his defeated squad. He reflects on the complexities of human laws, which he had momentarily forgotten. Having made his choice, Suho agrees to meet them at the house to hear their proposal. The meeting is set at a luxurious estate, overshadowed by a colossal ancient tree. Suho arrives to find Miss Miso waiting with a well-dressed, unfamiliar man. She introduces the man as Max, the influential head of the SPFC's Asian branch. Max greets Suho with obvious excitement, clearly a fan of the rising star. Now seated, Suho gets straight to the point, questioning the SPFC's interest in him. Max smirks, bringing up the Japanese champion hero's recent and very public insults against Suho. Suho seems genuinely surprised to hear about Hiro's public trash talk. Ms. Miso is taken aback, realizing Suho has been completely out of the loop. He admits his ignorance, more curious about Hiro's motives than offended. Max explains the entire provocation is just a classic money-making scheme. He passionately pitches the idea, promising an astronomical payday if Suho accepts the fight. Suho contemplates the offer, his expression unreadable. Max sweetens the deal, framing it as a perfect solution to stop a war and get rich simultaneously. Suho's thoughts drift to Granny Sucha's stern warning about Hiro being a dangerous killer. A chilling smile spreads across Suho's face as he asks if accepting means he can legally eliminate his opponent. Max and Miss Miso are struck silent, completely unprepared for his brutal interpretation of their proposal. Max frantically clarifies that while they aren't liable for fatal accidents, killing is absolutely not condoned. Miss Miso smoothly intervenes, telling Max they'll discuss the offer and get back to him. The meeting concludes with Max expressing his hope that they'll make the right decision. Suho and Miss Miso watch as the SPFC representative's car speeds away. She reminds Suho that he doesn't have to accept the fight and that a war won't happen. Suho, however, looks resolute, confirming he is completely game for the challenge. Miss Miso explains Japan's simple but brutal strategy: recruit him or eliminate him. Uninterested in their motives, Suho states that his opponent simply needs a good beating. He adds with a sly smile that the legality of the confrontation makes it even more appealing. Miss Miso then proposes a strategic move, donating the fight money to Japan to ease public hostility. Suho casually agrees to her clever plan with a confident smirk. Pleased with his decision, Miss Miso confirms she will relay the news to Mr. Max. She then pulls out an official document, revealing another important matter from the government. Suho's interest is piqued by the unexpected official correspondence. Miss Miso hands him an invitation to the annual assembly of Korea's top 6 defense guilds. He examines the invitation, realizing the government wants him at this high-profile gathering. Suho points out the obvious flaw in their plan: his guild isn't yet level 6. With a triumphant smile, she presents a plaque officially promoting the Suho Guild to level 6. She further reveals they've been granted autonomous rights over the entire Gyeongbu territory. Miss Miso watches him closely, anticipating his reaction to this massive upgrade in status and power. Suho processes the name of the territory he has just been granted. Miss Miso explains that once developed, the area will be absorbed into Seoul as District 13, all under his guild's control. He dryly interprets this grand gesture as a simple order for him to move. Later, his guild members loudly protest the decision, feeling they've been given undesirable land as a political maneuver. Suho calmly shuts down the debate, stating the decision is made, and their first task is to build a city. A guildmate questions his easy acceptance, voicing his suspicion that they're being taken advantage of. Suho reveals his simple logic: the land is close to the DMZ and perfect for expanding his farm. One of the men groans in frustration, wishing they had just immigrated to the US when they had the chance. Unfazed, Suho points to a map, revealing his plan to keep their current base as the headquarters and open new branches. The complaining members are suddenly intrigued, realizing this new structure could mean promotions for them. A guildmate clarifies their new roles are less like mayors and more like feudal lords. Under Suho's absolute authority, the prospect of becoming a lord sends one of the men into a state of wild excitement. They discuss the massive economic potential, realizing Suho's farming could turn Korea into a global food hub. A member questions their ability to compete with the dominant Aruka Corporation's vast distribution network. The excited guildmate imagines them as heroic protectors of a land with unimaginable value. He urges Suho to lock down the deal with a contract, but Suho calmly confirms everything is already set. Suho brings them back to reality, mocking their lordly ambitions before announcing that training is about to begin. The men immediately feign sudden illnesses and injuries to weasel their way out of the grueling session. Elsewhere, a menacing figure with a scar smirks amidst a fiery aura, clearly reacting to recent news. The guild's escape attempt is cut short by breaking news: their future opponent, Hiro, has just emerged from a dungeon. The guildmate smugly taunts Suho, convinced the news about Hiro means trouble. The news reveals Hiro's incredible feat, conquering a level 7 dungeon in a record-breaking 8 days. Hiro and his cloaked entourage emerge, radiating an intimidating aura of raw power. The media quickly picks up Hiro's response, where he vows to teach Suho a lesson in manners. An official SPFC fight poster is released, hyping the epic showdown between Hiro and Suho. Former world champion Lennox weighs in, predicting Hiro's experience will dominate Suho in the confined arena. SPFC commentator Bright smugly declares that Suho is about to learn the brutal difference between a street fight and a professional match. The public weighs in online, with betting odds and fan opinions overwhelmingly stacked against Suho. Despite the odds, a staggering 240 billion won is bet on Suho, making him an unprecedented betting phenomenon. Back at the guild, his members are floored by the astronomical sum, realizing its immense value. A guildmate frantically tells his friend to scroll further down the news article, sensing there's more to the story. The screen reveals a shocking headline: Suho has donated the entire 240 billion won in fight money to Japan. One of the men explodes with rage, unable to comprehend why Suho would give away the money he's fighting for. The group speculates that the donation is a political move, but then a crucial question arises about the separate prize money for the winner. Their jaws drop as they discover the winner's payout is double, a massive 480 billion won. Fearing he'll donate that to, Suho suddenly appears behind them, casually interrupting their frantic discussion. A concerned guildmate confronts Suho, arguing that he's being used and shouldn't give away the money he's risking his life to earn. Brushing off their concerns, Suho coolly tells them to finish eating and head inside, as he's off to inspect the new land. Elsewhere, a government official chuckles on the phone, revealing the reported fight money is far less than the actual sum. The official smugly confirms they've locked Suho into donating his winnings, a perfect move to control public opinion both at home and abroad. The official reveals their long-term plan to leverage Suho's agricultural project for their own ends. Meanwhile, Suho soars over his new territory on the back of his formidable dragon. Miss Miso explains the site is a former military base, perfect for renovation and expansion. From above, he spots the dilapidated barracks that will serve as their new foundation. His dragon gracefully circles the sky before beginning its powerful descent. On the ground, Miss Miso and a welcoming party watch in anticipation as he approaches. The dragon makes a dramatic landing, stunning the onlookers with its sheer presence. The men stare in awe, debating whether the legendary beast has grown even larger. Suho calmly dismounts, his feet touching the ground of his new domain. As his dragon dematerializes behind him, Suho stands ready to claim his territory. Miss Miso formally welcomes Suho, who casually remarks that the view from above was acceptable. He immediately gets down to business, estimating he can cultivate a 2.5-mile radius around the base. Without waiting for paperwork, Suho unleashes a tremendous wave of power, ready to reshape the land himself.
Hello everyone, subscribe to my channel to not miss new trending manhwa.